Hi there everyone, thanks so much for joining us for another informative Jamaica Magazine journey. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Inside the pages today, we look at the expenditure of public health care in the new fiscal year, which starts in April. Plus more stories of developments in Jamaica. Stay with us, it all unfolds starting with our news of the day, right after this important message.
Public passenger vehicle operators and commercial carriers, renew your road license online. It's as easy as 1-2 click. Visit the Transport Authority website at www.ta.org.jm. Choose your license type and click Apply Now. Sign in or create an account with your email address and complete the application process, uploading all relevant documents. Make payment using a debit or credit card. Once your application is approved, the Transport Authority will email you to collect your sticker. Pick up your sticker in office or utilize our courier service. Once the sticker is collected, your digital road license will be emailed to you. For more information, call the Transport Authority toll-free at 888-991-5687.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Monday, March 24, 2025. Groundbreaking for the long-awaited Caymanas Special Economic Zone is projected to take place by the end of April 2025. This will pave the way for the undertaking of infrastructure works and the build-out of the first 30 acres.
We have gone past talk, we have done the work, and we are now ready to break ground and start construction.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the 7,000-acre Caymanas Special Economic Zone project is a key pillar of the logistics vision beyond the Port of Kingston and lands in the immediate vicinity of the port.
The Caymanas Special Economic Zone is set to transform Jamaica's logistics and manufacturing sectors, attracting global investment and creating thousands of jobs. To catalyze the project, the Port Authority has been tasked with land preparation to address climate change risks, including flooding, bringing basic infrastructure and utilities to the site, creating direct transportation linkages to the container terminal, as well as constructing pre-built space for investors who would wish to come to Jamaica but would rather lease facilities.
The Prime Minister highlights that detailed engineering designs have been completed, the tendering process for the first phase of land preparation and infrastructure works is completed, and all the necessary approvals are in place. The government will be investing $2 billion to enhance key corridors leading to the city of Kingston to create an attractive and welcoming gateway. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who made the announcement during his budget speech, says the initiative will focus on major thoroughfares. These include the airport road from Norman Manley International Airport to Mountain View, from the roundabout at the airport to Port Royal, as well as 6 miles to Dunrobin Avenue and 6 miles to Portia Simpson Miller Square through to downtown via Spanish Town Road.
The project will begin with the pre-investment works, including design and planning, community consultations, and these upgrades will not only beautify Kingston's points of entry, but also enhance infrastructure, improve connectivity, and create a positive impression for visitors and residents alike.
There are plans to introduce open road tolling into the toll road system on the island. It's a state-of-the-art system that allows vehicles to be charged electronically without having to stop at a toll booth by using electronic systems to facilitate payment while vehicles travel at highway speeds.
This system is widely used across the world and has proven to be faster, more efficient, and more convenient.
The Prime Minister reveals that the Montego Bay Perimeter Road that's now under construction will serve as the pilot project for the initiative. Meanwhile, the Angels Toll Road in St. Catherine is to have 3 lanes added, with engineering designs for this far advanced. The 20% duty concession currently available for pickup trucks used by farmers will now be extended to include other mid-sized commercial vehicles commonly used in farming.
We will also revise the GCT Act to redefine eligible vehicles to include versatile options like panel vans, and small trucks. These vehicles will now benefit from the existing 20% duty concession that currently applies to pickup trucks. In other words, we are removing barriers that limit our farmers' ability to transport perishable goods, equipment, and livestock feed efficiently.
Additionally, the government will amend the regulations to allow the importation of light commercial vehicles up to 15 years old, an increase from the current age limit of 10 years. Improvements are also coming for marine fishers.
While our fish farmers have always benefited from these duty concessions, our marine fishers have not. And this is an unfortunate anomaly which must be addressed. So I've given directives that steps should be taken for our registered fishers to be included in the 20% duty concession regime.
Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams is to announce when these adjustments will take effect. And finally, the government will be implementing a new system for motor vehicle fitness certificates.
The first certificate of fitness for a new motor vehicle will be issued for 5 years. For used vehicles, 10 years or less, the validity period for certificates of fitness will be 3 years. For vehicles older than 10 years, the current yearly renewal schedule will remain.
Changes will also be made to the registration period for motor vehicles.
Motorists currently have an option to renew motor vehicle registration for 6 months or for 1 year. We will be introducing a 2-year renewal option.
The changes are part of Streamlining Processes for Efficiency and Economic Development SPEED initiative aimed at improving systems and processes across all government entities. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
Health and wellness is everybody's business because without it, nothing else can be achieved. The government certainly knows this and is pumping more resources into creating universal health care. Leading today's features segment of the magazine is an outline of the spending allocation for public health care.
Every single Jamaican is entitled, as a taxpayer, as a Jamaican, to the best possible health services.
The government's mission of guaranteeing adequate, effective, and efficient public health service in the 2025-2026 fiscal year is being supported by an allocation of over $165.82 billion. Most of this, $155.64 billion, is allocated for recurrent expenses, inclusive of budgetary support to the Bellevue Hospital, government chemist, and the National Council on Drug Abuse. The Health Ministry will offset that with $650 million earned from fees collected. And over $10.18 billion of the total monies allocated is for capital projects supported by the government and/or its international partners. A significant portion of the ministry's recurrent budget is to ensure the 23 hospitals, 336 health centers, and specialized institutions in the 4 regional health authority areas are equipped to deliver first-rate service to Jamaicans. This includes operational support for the National Public Health Lab, the Blood Transfusion Services, and Immunology Unit. The allocation also covers work to maintain health standards and regulations, procure pharmaceutical and medical supplies, carry out rehabilitation and maintenance work, and provide regional health system support. $12.56 billion is also set aside to cover approximately 68% of the operating cost of the University Hospital of the West Indies, and over $13 billion is for the overall administrative services and regulatory expenses of the ministry. The $10 billion allocation for capital spending in the new fiscal year will allow work to proceed on several major health improvement projects jointly funded by the government and its multilateral or bilateral partners. Among them, continued progress towards completion of the Western Children and Adolescent Hospital and redevelopment of the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
In 2024, we launched the final phase, phase 3 of the project, that is to realize the full rehabilitation of the building. By April of 2025, the Medical Records Department, the General Stores, the Dietary Department, and the server rooms will be fully rehabilitated and operational. The next section of the building to be rehabilitated is the Accident and Emergency Unit that we hope to be fully equipped with new CT and MRI machines as a brand new amenity to support the work of the staff of the A&Es.
Construction of the new Western Children and Adolescent Hospital is also at the final stage. This year's targets include completing the cladding of the building and procuring additional equipment to outfit the hospital.
At that location, there will be 800 beds in 2 towers, one 8th floor, one 10th. And every single piece of equipment will be new in that facility, making it the highest concentration of hospital beds anywhere in the Caribbean.
The next capital project will see over $270 million being spent towards the modernization of the University Hospital of the West Indies. Targets for the new fiscal year include engaging an architect to modify designs of the building, as well as a commissioning agent and FIDIC engineer. Requisite municipality approvals will also be obtained so the project can go to market for construction works. The 4th Capital Development Project is for the prevention and care management of non-communicable diseases (NCDs) with a $4 billion allocation.
The importance of preventative action, such as regular screening for the risk factors of NCDs, is underscored by the significantly high cost of treating non-communicable diseases. It is always cheaper to prevent than to cure. And in turn, it's from all aspects, from the quality of life, time with family, time to relax, as well as the economics of working and productivity and output, which is why we have to encourage more screening.
As part of this project, construction works will continue on the Spanish Town Hospital, which should reach 35% completion during the fiscal year. Construction works will also continue on the St. Jago Park, Greater Portmore, and Old Harbour Health Centres. The budgeted spend also involves completing designs for another 4 health facilities, St. Anne's Bay, Maypen West, Mucko, and the St. Anne's Bay Regional Health Centres, as well as commencing the procurement of civil works on the Ocherius, Maypen, and Brownstown Health Centres. The 2025-26 expenditure also targets completing the installation of managed network services at 50 sites.
So what we're doing really is ushering in the electronic health record system, which for us represents a major transformation in how we treat our patients, our customers in our public health system. Because effectively it impacts transaction time, the length of time it takes to get a patient through the system, processing them, looking at their historical record, making an early diagnosis, doing a diagnostic test, transmitting that information electronically.
As part of the Prevention and Care Management of Non-Communicable Diseases NCDs program, government will also commence and complete health field testing at 5 health centers and start and complete data collection for the Jamaica Lifestyle Survey 4. These are just some of the ways in which the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be investing in the well-being of Jamaicans for 2025-26.
The 2025-2026 budget debate is on in the Parliament, and Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness made his presentation on Thursday of last week. He laid out significant achievements and further national development plans for the country. Let's examine some of them.
The NHD will commence construction on more than 19,575 solutions across all parishes over the next 2 years and continues to acquire land for new development. Commencing July 1, 2025, for contributors who earn less than $30,000 weekly, the deposit requirement on open market loans will be reduced to 2% if the housing solution being acquired is priced at or below $14 million. The individual loan limit will be increased from $7.5 million to $9 million. For 2 co-applicants, the combined maximum loan limit will be increased from $15 million to $17 million. And for 3 co-applicants, it will be increased from $21 million to $23 million. If an individual mortgager is purchasing a unit at $14 million or less, the NHD will lend that individual up to $12 million, subject to availability. Now, also for construction of houses by individual contributors, the individual construction loan limit will be increased to $11 million. For 2 co-applicants, it will be for $17 million, and for 3, $23 million. Starting July 1, 2025, the service charge on mortgages will be reduced as follows. For prospective mortgagors who earn $30,000 or less each week, their service charge will be reduced from 2% of the loan amount to 0. And for prospective mortgagors earning between $30,000 and $42,000 per week, the service charge will be reduced from 5% of the loan to 2%. Prospective mortgagors earning $42,001 per week and above, their service charge remain at 5%. Currently, a minimum wage earner who has contributed to the NHD for at least 7 years may access a home grant of up to $3.5 million. We are modifying the eligibility requirement in order to make the grant available to more contributors. The maximum qualifying income for home grants will now be $30,000 per week. Effective July 1, 2025, the NHD will reduce the waiting time for accessing home improvement loans from 10 years to 7 years. And we have increased the loan limit to $5 million from $3.5 million. Effective July 1, 2025, private sector mortgagors will have the option of either a cash refund or the application of their refund amounts to their existing mortgage obligation, provided that the loan is free of arrears. Madam Speaker, this will be assessed on a year-by-year basis based upon the NHD's cash flow position. The NHD will expand its institutional loan program and pursue partnerships with hospitals through the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the regional health authorities to provide housing for employees in the public health system. Where possible, these housing units will be constructed on the hospital compound. The NHD has begun preliminary discussions with the University Hospital of the West Indies and one rural hospital under this program.
Children are the future, and ensuring our future is healthy requires that children are always provided with nutritious foods to grow well and live long. Unhealthy diets high in sugar, salt, and fat consumed by children may make them obese and prone to non-communicable diseases later in life. Healthy foods and beverages not only help them learn better, but also protects them from non-communicable diseases such as some cancers, diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular diseases in their childhood and adult life. So, whether it's at home, in the lunch bag, or at school, let's make healthy foods and beverages for our children the only rule.
We are observing International Day for the Right to the Truth concerning gross human rights violation and for the dignity of victims. The 2025 theme is Advancing Victim Rights and Rebuilding Just Communities. In the few remaining minutes of Jamaica Magazine, we want you to focus your attention on the Victim Services Division and its work to provide supportive interventions for various categories of victims.
The Victim Services Division provides support for all victims of crime. It does not matter the type of crime that has been committed against you, or doors are open to you.
Some of those victims are persons who've suffered sexual abuse, family members of people murdered, individuals who've experienced robbery and intimate partner violence, otherwise known as domestic abuse. They all can be grouped into one of three categories: primary, secondary, or tertiary victim. Who is a primary victim?
The person to whom the crime has been directly committed. Now, in the case where the primary victim is deceased, we will provide the service to their next of kin and their immediate family members, who in this case will be the secondary victims.
Secondary victims may not have had the act perpetrated on them, but they do experience some amount of trauma due to what their loved ones may have endured. Then there are the tertiary victims.
Victim service workers are categorized as tertiary victims. And so we think about persons like the police officers who have to interface with these situations on a day-to-day basis. There is secondary traumatization that they experience. And so it is critically important that persons not only recognize that these events can have an impact on them, be they primary, secondary, or tertiary victim, but also that they need to get assistance to be able to deal with the effects of the trauma that they have experienced.
Tertiary victims also suffer what's called vicarious trauma. This results in some form of distress caused from the horrific experiences of others.
For example, a mother who has a 9-year-old child and hears of the incident where a 9-year-old was brutally murdered. That person will feel some amount of trauma, some amount of fear even because of what has happened to that child when they think of the fact that they too have a 9-year-old child.
A department in the Ministry of Justice, the Victim Services Division, is determined to help.
We have come to recognize that even in the cases where there are physical wounds, when those have healed, the wounds that are created, the psychological wounds and the social injuries that are created are far harder to heal, especially if the person has received no intervention to deal with the trauma that they have faced.
The division provides a support system for individuals, including through counseling sessions which have been extended to e-counseling, an initiative that was boosted by the COVID-19 pandemic. This is a therapeutic process that is based on trauma-informed care to help individuals cope. Another is crisis intervention. This is where experts at the division may need to accompany police officers onto a scene to help victims understand what is happening. It's known as on-the-scene response.
Additionally, we provide services in terms of home visits. So we'll visit the homes of victims and provide services to them there, school visits, and that sort of thing in terms of crisis intervention.
Another part of the treatment focuses on informing the victims of their rights.
We try to assist them through the process, get in touch with the relevant persons to get information that they may need to even understand the process of the investigation, what is happening, what will be happening, or what should happen.
Due to the unnerving experience of a trial and the added traumatization of the victims, the division also gives court support to help persons prepare for trial.
When a victim has to go to court, it can be a very frightening experience for both adults and children. So one of the ways in which we advocate, instead of having the victim being seated in the same area and being able to be seen by the perpetrator and they're seeing the perpetrator and they may feel fearful and not able to go through the process, we ask that they be seated in another area where they don't have to interface with this, or even where they don't have to interface where possible with the general public.
The Victim Services Division also provides a Children in Court program.
In terms of dealing with the children, some of the tools that we use, we may utilize a model courtroom that really depicts the courtroom setting and give them an idea as to where individuals may be seated, who they will interact with, who they can expect to interact with them, that sort of thing. In some instances, we're even able to bring the victim to the courthouse prior to the date so that they can basically see the lay of the land and get a better appreciation and understanding. So when they turn up on that day, it's not all brand new to them. And preparation for us, let me be clear, is really orientating them to the process. We do not interfere with statements. We do not interfere with whatever it is they will be going there to say. We are all about the court process, the layout of the court, and basically educating them as to what they can expect.
You do not have to suffer in silence. You do not have to be afraid.
We operate on a principle of neutrality. It does not matter who you are. It does not matter what your story is. Our doors are open to you once you have become a victim of a crime.
For more information, contact the Victim Services Division in your parish and get help today.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please join us again tomorrow on the same station for more news, features, and information you can use to live, work, raise families, and do business, and of course, retire in paradise. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson, wishing you all the best. Until next time, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.